What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Welcome to another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. Yeah, it's Friday Eve. 4 days before Christmas. It's Thursday, December 21st, 2023, year of our Lord. We ain't got much time left, y'all. We ain't got much time left. We are at the end of the rainbow. And if you did not get it this year, then the best thing for you to do is plan for next year. We planning for 2024. We out of 2023. We in 2024 now. We completely removed from whatever it is that's happening in 2023, and we going into 2024, and we going in guns blazing. I got a phenomenal show planned for you guys today, because I do not miss. Listen, I am a sure thing. I think y'all taking me for granted. Let me give myself a round of applause. You know why? Because I don't miss. And if nobody is going to acknowledge me, listen, you got to acknowledge you before anybody else acknowledge you. You need to date yourself before you start looking for somebody else to do so. And I am a sure thing, meaning that I am so sure, you should be so sure that you're going to tap in to Anton Daniels on the Millionaire Morning Show on Mondays, on Wednesdays, live stream, and after hours is coming next year. We got a lot of things planned. I'm more sure than whether or not your spouse going to come home at night. You should be more sure that you're going to be able to tune into the Millionaire Morning Show. I mean, for real, all throughout the year, we did it sick. We did it tired. We did it with no voice because we have been yelling at the Patreon meetups and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, thank you to Teej Hanley for continuing to hold us down. We got a new contract for 2024. Shout out to all of the people that tuned into the live stream last night. That was also sponsored by Teej Hanley. Make sure you get that Teej pack. Listen, if you're getting any other Teej pack or if you don't have Teej, click the link in the description. It is a great product. I would never pitch anything to you or support anything that I don't use myself. I use it. You should use it. If you're a lady that's watching this and your husband is not watching it, get it for him and just make it a stocking stuffer. It's a great product. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Teej Hanley is a phenomenal product. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. Also, on top of that, if you are not a part of the Patreon, we about to have the Stock Club coming in 2024. We about to have the meetups in 2024. Invest in your business, where I give you money in order to continue to leverage what it is that you need and the information that we give you inside of the Patreon to continue to build your business up with no equity from me, is coming in 2024. Looking forward for that being bigger and better. We got more live streams, more interviews. We got great people, business coaches that's coming on the platform. I've been planning and putting it together. And you guys have a phenomenal Patreon coming up next year. If you are not a bag chaser, if you are not a Patreon member, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It is a great, awesome platform for y'all to tap into, and I encourage you guys to do so. Shout out to the chasers. Let me give an early acknowledgement to my guys. Andre Gill came through with the 10 ball on Cash App, sir, for the chasers. I appreciate you on Cash App. Also, my dog Mike That Dude says grateful on a Thursday. Shout out to Mike That Dude, always holding me down. I appreciate you. Let me acknowledge the early super chatters, because I know y'all was excited about the show that we did last night. I want to keep the energy high. Oh my God, y'all ain't telling me y'all was hitting me off like this. Not this early in the morning. I wasn't expecting it. Mike Jones says, good morning, Anton. I was able to catch a show last night. Absolutely fire. I'm not under the weather at all. I'm on 10. You know what I'm saying? The CN nurse says, who was that 53-year-old claiming to give up the 304 lifestyle, but she butt naked with a dude coming through the door? You cannot make this up. Shout out to Mike Jones in the building for holding me down on the live stream last night. Thank you, my friend. Also got Jones coming in and said, as for the woman talking about who hurt you when you showed Mrs. Daniels' wedding ring and the Porsche keys, she got real quiet, snatched that breath right on up out of her. That's how you do it, big dog. Listen, we receipting it up all for the rest of 2023. For 2024, we ain't even gonna acknowledge these people. I done shown enough receipts over the last few years to last a lifetime out here. And thank you, Mike Jones, for supporting the platform. I appreciate you. Also, Ash is in the building. Oh my God. Says, I finally finished watching Monday's Hey Q show. That show was highlighted a highlight of what KS, rest in peace, just, you know what I'm saying, acknowledged and talked to his mother. Shout out to her. Talk about, he told black men the market is now open. Thanks, AD, for giving Passport Bros their flowers. In the words of Austin Holloman, it's that bad. Shout out to Ash, my guy, always holding me down. Quick Octane says, let's get it. We here. Thank you, Quick Octane. Queen V, my girl, says, AD, please tell me you saw the new ish with TD Jakes. No, send it to me. That's going to be for the Friday show. I'm not aware. Listen, I don't know what's going on unless you guys are sending it to me. So I'm intimately familiar with how it is that I interact with the chat. And so I'm a chat ninja myself. And so as I continue to have conversations with y'all and I like to kick it with y'all, y'all got to go ahead and give me the game. So Queen V, send that to me. Also, today is our 14th anniversary as well. I love you, Eric. She's your queen to be. Queen V says, I love you, E. Shout out to E and Queen V, Chasers. I appreciate you guys for continuing to love on each other and love me over at the Millionaire Morning Show. Time Out came through with the 10 ball, says, salute. Appreciate you, Time Out. Sportsaholic Gerard says, good morning, Anton and fellow Chasers. Anton, your open cook session last night got feelings more hurt than Anthony Davis. Yeah, let's get it. All right, so look, send me that TD Jakes article so I can have that inside of my email, antondaniels413@gmail.com, and then we're going to be reviewing that tomorrow when I allow for y'all to be able to call into the show and get your energy off. It's funny because every time I open up the panel, I don't see nobody coming up to say nothing, but I'm going to make it available tomorrow. All right, y'all ready to get it popping? Let's get it popping. Again, I appreciate you guys for continuing to hold me down. Thank you to Tej Hanley for being a sponsor of the show. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to it. We got quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show where I basically break down what's happening. I don't think it deserves an entire segment to each individual subject that we talk about, but we definitely want to keep you guys up to date of what's going on out in these streets. So today's Quick Hits is dedicated to Chicago. Considering that I had all of my favorite Chicago artists up on the screen the other day, it's too much news that come across my desk. I don't know if crime in Chicago is just much worse there than it is anywhere else, but I had to dedicate an entire segment over to Chicago. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Always reading super chats and acknowledging the people, especially you, Daryl Pullins. Thank you, my friend. This entire Quick Hits is dedicated to Chicago. So, first on the list, there is a toddler roaming around in Chicago in the cold, windy city weather, and nobody knows who the parents are. We don't know if this is a migrant baby. They ain't even got no pants on, but they wandering around in the streets of Chicago. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening out here in these streets, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy.
Roseland Hospital, where that child was taken for observation. Assault.
Yeah, Ryan Mugo, that child found wandering the street not too far from here. No shoes, no pants on. About 1:30 yesterday morning, we know he was brought here for a medical evaluation by paramedics. Want to show you a picture we have of that child that we were sent by police and hope someone will recognize him and get in touch with his family. We're told the toddler did appear to be okay. It has been very cold outside, though, so you can imagine there's a high level of concern right now for this child. Not clear how long he had been out alone before he was spotted. Police say he appears to be 2 to 3 years old, seen walking alone near 107th and Perry Avenue. Again, yesterday morning, 1:30, police did search the area for anyone who might know the child, but so far have not been successful. We're told the child seems to only speak Spanish, and even within the last few hours, we've gotten an update from Chicago police who say still there is no sign of his parents or anyone that may know that child. They're asking anyone who recognizes the child's picture to contact police. You can also directly contact Area 2 Special Victims Unit. I'm live from Roseland Hospital. Asal Razai, CBS.
So, the child, let me just go ahead and get this off the screen really quickly. I'm sorry. The child only speaks Spanish. So there's one of your context clues. Let me say it again. First and foremost, let me make sure that we put out the APB. If there's anybody that speaks Spanish that is familiar with the parents of this child that is roaming around with no pants on and just so happened to be picked up by police, please call Chicago authorities so we can have this parent arrested, charged, and sent to jail and possibly back to their country if they are a migrant illegally into this country. But as though Chicago didn't have enough problems on their hands already, now they're dealing with roaming children walking around with no pants on, and the child only speaks Spanish, which, if we really just trying to figure it out and we just be honest with ourselves, we all know what the hell is happening out here in these streets. So welcome to America, specifically Chicago. And yeah, it's nothing else I can say about that. I'm going to keep you guys up to date. Thank you, Kung Fu Hustler. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. Chicago is trash. Let's just be honest. Bag chasers, if y'all in Chicago, hit me up with a new location of where y'all gonna be at, all right? Also on top of that in Chicago, a security guard whose life was taken trying to break up a fight was killed.
Breaking right now at 4 o'clock, a fight breaks out just after noon in a shopping center in Chatham and ends with a security guard shot to death.
CBS 2's Sabrina Franza is on scene. She joins us live now near 87th and Cottage Grove. Sabrina.
Police are still gathering evidence and taking photos of what spilled out into this parking lot here. A fight that ended in the death of a 53-year-old man who people who work in this shopping center say was a security guard that gave his life to protect others.
The security officer, he was known by many and very friendly, would say hello to us all the time before we started our shifts. And it's kind of sad knowing that we lost a really good person today.
China Brown was working her normal shift when she heard gunshots. Her colleagues counted 8 rounds.
Imagine just doing your daily job and then you just hear gunshots out of nowhere.
They later ran outside to find a 53-year-old man on the ground. They recognized him as the security guard they see every day, assigned to protect the DTLR a few stores down.
He was, he would keep you protected no matter where you were. If you were in the Magic Nails, he would just, make sure, you knew he was there.
Police claim the man was in an argument with a man and a woman. We don't know what it was about. They say the man pulled out a gun and shot him 3 times. He was critical when they took him to the hospital before he died.
He clocked in. He had no idea he was going to be losing his life today.
Police are still looking for those 2 people. They say they drove off in a gray sedan. We'll have more on this investigation coming up on the CBS 2 News at.
So, remember when we posed all of these different scenarios that said, hey, you need to protect this or do that or whatever? A security guard, a 53-year-old man who was trying to earn money in order to make sure that he took care of his family, got into an argument with a man and a woman who got in the car and drove off. 8 rounds. He was hit at least 3, and he no longer here. And guess what? At the end of the day, he's going to be forgotten tomorrow. Nobody will care. They're going to get another security guard probably. Walking around. And remember this. I want y'all to really take in this, right? Because Chicago is one of the the cities, Illinois and Chicago, is one of the places that have some of the strictest gun laws on the books. They have some of the strictest gun laws, Chicago and New York, both of them sanctuary cities, crime running rampant, out of control, budget deficit, democratic cities, voter registration is down. They have some of the strictest gun laws in the entire country. But the monsters got them. And you never know when a 53-year-old security guard is going to lose his life. Continuing on, ladies and gentlemen. Also, there's an alarm because carjackings are up in Chicago.
There are new details tonight in a carjacking at a Glenview Costco gas station. The stolen Mercedes was found by investigators a few hours later, miles away in Chicago. This is part of a string of gas station carjackings in the last few months. Our Sarah Maki has the warning from police tonight.
Left in an alley near Western and Irving Park Road, police circle a black Mercedes. The engine still running. It matches the description of one stolen roughly 6 hours earlier in broad daylight. Glenview police tell us they were called to the Costco on Patriot Boulevard just before noon when the owner of a Mercedes sedan saw someone get into the driver's side of their car, start the vehicle, and start to pull away. Police say that owner tried to get back into their own car through the passenger side, but they fell, hospitalized for those injuries. Police say that Mercedes was then seen driving on the Edens Expressway at a high rate of speed. The issue of Costco robberies has gotten so common that Chicago 44th Ward Alderman Bennett Lawson warned residents in a recent newsletter that there has been a recent string of carjackings at the gas station on Clybourn Avenue, adding many instances of carjackings at this Costco location and other gas stations have taken place when keys have been left in the vehicle. At Clybourn, we spotted several security guards and 2 security vehicles.
We reached out to Costco hoping to talk to them about any increased security methods, but they denied our request.
Niles police tell us that since July 29th, they have taken reports for 3 stolen autos and 2 attempted stolen autos. Each of the vehicles was stolen while their drivers were pumping gas with their engines running.
Now, maybe this will convince you guys to switch over to EVs. Maybe this, because I'm going to tell you, like, you hear of 0 EVs being stolen. I don't know if it's because they can't fence none of the engine parts and they can't strip it the same way and it's not a demand for it like maybe it is for gas cars. But I tell you what, you ain't going to be standing out there trying to figure out how to fill up your car waiting for people over in Chicago. Chicago needs to just become an all EV city, and maybe that'll help with the carjackings. I don't know. Listen, I'm willing to try anything at this point. Anything helps that will help us try to figure out how to mitigate the crime. I'm sure that they're going to probably already figure out how to steal some batteries. They're going to steal some lithium ion battery packs too, right? I don't know. It's so bad over in this city that they still got the old police lettering on the cars. Chicago police cars look like they from the 1950s. They can't even update the logo. Brandon Johnson is running around like his hair is on fire. He got his mohawk up in the bun. I don't know what's going over in Chicago, but that is your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. That definitely is your quick hits. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show because I got a good show for y'all. Daryl Pullen says, watching from Duval County, AD, you always cooking, my brother. You been on one. This Monday's show was crazy, but last night was the icing on the cake. Says, keep next stepping and pushing, bro. Thank you for the 10 ball, my friend. I appreciate you. I am an honorary Texan today. Kung Fu Hustler says, my comic shitty of Retributions is unfortunately based on my lovely but tarnished home shitty of Chirac. So is Batman of Gotham City right now. Antonio Watkins says, hey, man, I got 10 ball for you. Seeing my cousin super chatting and being a bag chaser makes me excited. I've been to 3 meetups and consider you, Anton Daniels, as my big brother. Shout out to Duval County in the building. Hey, man, we got a community of people that's we going to change the narrative. As a culture, as Americans, as men and women, we are going to change the narrative inside of the chasers. And so if you are not a chaser, I would encourage you to become a chaser. And we're going to run it up and we're going to make sure that you guys continue to become successful and hopefully add value into your life. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Yeah. Before we get started with the show, let me get a mental health check in the chat. One word only. Tell me how you feel. What you feeling like going into 2024? We got, one more week of live streaming here before we get into 2024? I want to know what your sentiment is going into 2024. I need to know what you feel like. Shout out to Impact. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, my friend. Shout out to Impact. Shout out to True to Myself. Tab, boss. It says, Oz Tab, boss. Great, ready, excited, fantastic, motivated, amazing, Tag, glorious, cool, committed, blessed, inspired, new position, ready, yeah, hopeful, bullish, excited, optimistic, defeated, phenomenal, excited, encouraged, grinding, onward, excited for the new year, hopefully hype, optimistic, focused, next, we in there, blessed, free, trying, shaking off the haters, determined, I love you, big homie, I love you too. Trump 2024, happy, successful, onward, motivated, tired, onward, need you as a mentor. I'm here, committed, staying ready, hungry. What up, Mona D? Incredible, so excited, feel like I'm about to take over the world. You are, greatness, blessed, chubby, our streets, you beautiful, paid, determined, goals, focus, leveling up. Not musty. You're going to have to get some deodorant on, put some soap and water on first. Wonderful, says Tamara. I love Tamara. Nirvanic, inspired, divinely guided, packed, Martin Meck, blessed, stressed, overthinking, relentless, no Biden, discipline. What up, Skylar? Elevating, ready, excited, in a bind. You in a bind, Nate? Prepared, okay with it, moving, Trump 2024 focus, and making more money. All right, we got a better sentiment than we have earlier in the week. That means we're going to end the week better than when we started. Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right. So the name or the theme of this show is Flying Private. Have y'all ever been on a private jet before? Have you ever been on a private jet before? It's crazy. Cherie says she horny. Ooh-wee. Cherie says she horny. Shout out to Cherise. Don't y'all be trying to DM Cherise talking about she horny. It's too early in the morning to be horny. Whew. The name of this show is called Fly. Have y'all ever been on a private jet before? Just seen it. Seen it on Instagram. Seen some influencers taking pictures in front of them. I've never actually paid for a private jet myself. The only time that I've ever been on a PJ, that's what the rappers call it, a PJ, is a company flew me. And then I've also been on one as a result of being flown over on the MGM plane. But PJs, it's called Flying Private, but it's not what you think that it is. Here, let me set the foundation of what I'm talking about. All right? Look at Messi out here being messy. We have a record illegal boarding crosses. Now, I want you to come along this journey with me on the Millionaire Morning Show today. Even though we have a theme, I'm definitely trying to bring you along the way to help you understand how we doing things over here in these streets, man. All right? We got a record illegal boarding crosses. Now, I know that we need to pin this to the Biden administration, but part of the Biden administration is Cam. Cam has been on a tour. She says she's going on tour in 2024 in order to help women understand their bodies more and to advocate against preventing abortions. But more importantly, before she ever went on tour, she was the border czar. And so she's the face of immigration. And I need y'all to understand what's going on at our southern borders. Not only in Texas, maybe Oklahoma, also Arizona. Let me bring you up to speed. We got a theme here, and I want to bring you guys along slowly. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Let's get to the crisis at the southern border now. And the staggering new record, more migrants crossed into the U.S. on Monday than any other day in history. And now Texas is being sued after giving state law enforcement sweeping new powers to arrest them. Morgan Chesky is there.
Tonight, stunning images from Eagle Pass, Texas, where thousands of migrant men, women, and so many children now fill entire fields.
That looks crazy. Now, I have not seen this story. Look at this. The word is out. The word is out. That looks like, have y'all ever seen them pictures of like, or the image of Malcolm X? Have y'all ever watched that Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington and he made his pilgrimage and they were all in the mosque praising and stuff like that? That looks crazy. One day, they are filling entire fields. I need y'all to be aware of what's going on. It's so easy to keep y'all distracted from what's happening out here in these streets. It's very, very much easy to keep y'all distracted. And they keep y'all distracted with things that don't really matter in your life. They tell you they're going to get you reparations. They know they're not giving you no reparations. They tell you that you need to be concerned with whatever the Supreme Court is doing with the bodies. Come on, fam. Let's be for real. They tell you you need to be aware of what's happening with these rappers. And then maybe Sexy Red is going to drop a new EP next year. She's going on tour. But let me tell you something. This country is being overran. Looks like a concert series out there. Record number of migrants crossing the border, and they are filling entire fields now. Entire fields.
Thousands of migrant men, women, and so many children now fill entire fields. The groups lining the Rio Grande clinging to blankets, huddling to stay warm, all waiting for hours to be processed, and most likely to be released into the United States.
Of all our trips to Eagle Pass, this is the largest group we have ever encountered. Sources tell us the majority of these families are Venezuelan, and we've just learned from authorities nearly 3,000 were apprehended just yesterday.
On Monday alone, a staggering new record. DHS officials telling NBC News more than 12,000 migrants crossed the U.S.-Mexico border, the most recorded in a single day ever. The surge sparking a new battle between the Lone Star State and the White House. Republicans here blaming President Biden's border policies for a record number of illegal crossings.
Biden's deliberate inaction has left Texas to fend for itself.
Now Governor Greg Abbott signing a new law, making illegal immigration a state crime, empowering police and sheriff's deputies to arrest migrants.
Let me give a round of applause for Governor Greg Abbott. We are so lax in holding the American people and our borders hostage in order to get more funding for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the like, that new lawsuits in a battle, I can't believe that I'm saying this and these words are coming out of my mouth. There is a battle between the feds and the state to close off our borders to illegal immigration. That Texas had to pass laws to make it illegal to cross over into this country illegally. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. I can't believe that this is the person that y'all voted into office. I can't believe that y'all supported this administration based off of lies that were perpetuated to you from Black Lives Matters. They gave you a $1,200 stimulus check and you sold your soul, and now your borders is being flooded and you have no control, all the way to the point to where it's now becoming a state responsibility to make sure that they pass laws to make it illegal to just walk into this country without any kind of controls whatsoever. This is one of the most foul, egregious, disrespectful, crazy things that I've seen in my lifetime, and I've seen a lot of things. But when you're watching fields of people and it comes to the point to where you actually have to have budgets built in to where we use our federal dollars to give it to outside countries for whoever, and we have no clue whose interests that we're serving, but we can't even protect our own borders, and y'all even considering to vote this person in, and there's a financial, legal, civil lawsuit that's being filed against the state of Texas for protecting their own borders?
Texas has already put controversial floating barriers in the Rio Grande and barbed wire along the border, but both face ongoing challenges. The White House calling the new law extreme. The ACLU of Texas saying they'll sue.
That is going to drive our immigrant communities into the shadows. It's going to increase suspicion of relying on law enforcement.
How much longer can you keep up?
No, we can't. We can't. Now it's like 3,000 or 4,000 right now. So they're coming in.
Maverick County Sheriff Tom Schmerber tells us they're struggling to cope with the number of migrants, but the new laws only raise new questions, namely where newly arrested migrants would potentially be held. His jail holds 250, and today sits just below 200.
I don't have the resources. I won't have the space. Where I want to put them.
Morgan, we see those massive crowds of migrants behind you, and officials say they expect more soon.
Lester, that's right. The sheriff tells me that he's already been warned by Mexican authorities who say despite the railroad closing down, a large group of migrants has abandoned that train and is now on foot, expected to arrive in this Eagle Pass area by the end of this week.
Thanks for watching.
The border crisis is intensifying as surges of migrants keep arriving to the southern border.
This following growing pushback to Texas Governor Greg Abbott's new law that will allow police to arrest people if they suspect they entered the U.S. illegally.
And so some people in the chat, thank you guys, because chat lives matters. Some people in the chat said, hey, what is the new law? Well, the new law is that Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, had to enable his entire law enforcement agencies, sheriffs, police officers, agents, anybody with a badge can arrest and stop illegal migrants from coming over and then send them back to where they came from. That's basically the law. They now have the ability to be able to police in their own cities. If they suspect you coming over here illegally, then they have the authority to be able to deal with it accordingly. That's the new law. If you came over here illegally, they can deal with it. And the Biden administration and the ACLU and all of these wokey wokes are basically telling you, no, y'all are being disrespectful.
ABC's Melissa Dan right now is reporting the latest on the border battle.
Historic apprehensions at the border. ABC News sources say Border Patrol apprehended more than 10,000 migrants yesterday, following a record 11,000 on Monday. This as hundreds of migrants are seen huddling in Eagle Pass, some wrapped in blankets as they await processing.
We're going the absolute wrong direction.
This on the heels of the new law signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, known as SB4, which allows for local and state law enforcement officials in Texas to arrest migrants suspected of crossing into the state illegally from Mexico. It also allows judges to order some migrants to return to Mexico. The White House blasting the law.
This is not who we are as a country. This is not.
I don't understand. I don't understand. What is there to blast? If you come into the country illegally, again, this is not legal migration. If you come into this country illegally, what is the... What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand why they would give pushback to the state of Texas. If you are coming in illegally, they should be able to deport you. What are we talking about? I'm confused too, Lester.
Who we should be as a country.
El Paso County joining the ACLU's lawsuit, saying it would overburden jails and pose a threat to mixed status families. Advocates say it encourages racial profiling, can lead to family separations, and can deny migrants the chance to request asylum. Lawmakers at the southern border calling for a solution.
We need to surge immigration judges to the border. This is America. People need to get their cases heard in days, not years. And if they do not qualify for asylum, they need to be deported.
Meantime, freight railroad operators are sounding the alarm after CBP shuttered rail operations at El Paso and Eagle Pass in light of the border crisis. Union Pacific Railroad says the closure will have a $200 million daily economic impact.
CBP closing down a number of border entry points across the Southwest in an effort to slow crossings and reallocate resources to processing migrants. Melissa,
they basically had to stop running trains because everybody was hopping on them in order to catch a ride over here to the border, to the tune of over $200 million in economic impact on a daily basis.
This afternoon, White House officials and Senate Republicans resumed talks aimed at a deal on new border security measures. Without an agreement, Republicans say they will not vote for more money for Ukraine.
And I stand with them. I don't think that we should give one more dollar to anything that's outside of American interest until we secure our own interests at home. We got to get the beam out of your own eye before we continue to contribute into the coffers of other people.
A record number of migrants on the southern border could push President Biden to consider restrictions that in the past he's denounced. For a look at the situation on the border, Danielle Camara, who covers the border for Arizona Public Media.
Now remember, this is
Danielle,
Arizona.
We hear these numbers. We hear
this isn't even Texas that they're talking to right now. They're talking to Arizona. Arizona people, they're trying to find out what's going on in Arizona now.
You know, record number, record surge of migrants at the border. You're there. You go to the border. What does a record surge look like there?
So basically, the numbers of people that are coming across the border right now in this region have almost doubled in the last few months. This area is now the area that's getting the highest number of migrants crossing the border. And what it looks like is it looks like hundreds of people a day, up to 1,000, sometimes over 1,000 people a day crossing the border and then basically turning themselves over to Border Patrol, waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. And Border Patrol prioritizes processing families and people with young children, of which there are many. And then they will process these single adults, mostly single men, after that. So some of these migrants are waiting out in the desert for days, waiting to be processed.
Sound
now,
like a
I've heard
personal
that they've
problem.
closed one port of entry along the Arizona-Mexico border, cutting off legal migration. How does that help?
Yeah, so basically there's this port of entry in this town called Lukeville that got shut down a couple of weeks ago. Officials said that they were shutting that down so they could move the dozen or so customs officers to help Border Patrol process some of these migrants. What that means is that the direct route that was provided by that port of entry to Puerto Banasco, to beaches that Arizonans lovingly call Arizona's beach in Mexico, that route is now shut off, which has had devastating effects for the economy in that area. As well, it is having an impact on the small communities that live around that port of entry who used to have a direct route to cross the border, to visit family, to go shopping, to go to doctor's appointments, and now they no longer have access to that direct route, and they would have to go hours out of their way to be able to do that crossing.
In addition to that, having to go farther to cross the border, how is this affecting life of residents on the American side?
Yeah, so, as far as the large numbers of migrants that are crossing, it is not affecting the majority of residents that live on the border and around the border. And the reason why is because a number of non-governmental organizations have really rallied together to put up services for these migrants, temporary services. There are a number of them along the border. Border Patrol will drop off migrants with these services, and then there are more robust services that send buses to bring the migrants to Tucson and to Phoenix, where they can give them overnight services, they can give them clothes, food, and assistance to make their travel arrangements to go to their final destination, which is typically with friends and family members in other parts of the country.
I'm at a loss for words. For one of the first times on a live stream in the Millionaire Morning Show, I am officially at a loss for words. We are enabling bad behavior in the same way that we enable women to tear up their homes and divide themselves against their husbands. We are so weak. We are so weak as a people, as a country, as voters, as men and women. The very fabric of this country is... Y'all ready to speak Spanish? Are y'all ready to speak Spanish? No hablo inglés? Are y'all ready to speak Espanol? Y'all might as well go ahead and get y'all Rosetta Stone on. Go ahead and get your Rosetta Stone on so that you can communicate more effectively. Look, I'll be in Miami at the end of this week. When am I flying to Miami? On Saturday? It's vacation time. I'm still going to be live streaming, but it's vacation time. If you go down to Miami, if you don't speak Spanish, you're going to be at a disadvantage. If you go down to Miami today and you don't speak Espanol, you will be at a disadvantage. You have to be bilingual in order to survive and really thrive over in Miami, or rich. Y'all want me to open up the chat to people that speak Espanol for one day only? Don't time out anybody that speak Espanol. Now, French, all these other languages, we're going to go ahead and time y'all out. For one day only, in order to acknowledge our new migrant family, everybody is now okay with being able to speak Espanol inside of the chat. For one day only. For one day only. Why not? We all going to wind up becoming friends anyway. We all got to get along. I might as well go ahead and start learning mine the same way. I should have been paying attention. I wasn't paying attention in school. I took French instead of Spanish. And I still don't know no French. They gave us the option to take Swahili as though that was ever going to work. You know what I'm saying? You are now welcome to speak Espanol. Look at Brittany B. Espanol in the French in the chat for one day. All right? Why not? We letting them in anyway. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. The new language, the official language of the United States of America, is Spanish. Impact says it's interesting. Europeans and African descendants refer to color in the U.S., but Hispanics and Asians don't. No brown or yellow on diversity application. It's a construct given to you guys in order to keep you down. Mark Meck says Big Dog was Batman last night. The hero that we need, not the one that we wanted. Blessed American and the Chaser. AL says that looks like a million-man march, didn't it? JC is in the building, says Dave Chappelle, the baby out at 3 in the morning. Oh, y'all remember that skit? Martin Meck in the building says single women in anti-gun states should be scared. Y'all should just let them all have their own state together. Let them have what state do we want to give women? I got to figure that out. Y'all tell me. We should give them Chicago. We should give them Chicago. The Cultivator says they can close the border now. I got some phenomenal workers from the deal. Not a fan of Biden. I'm taking the good with the bad. Shout out to the Cultivator. I appreciate you. Tanisha said that photo of the migrants looked like the Where's Waldo. Thank you. I got to give you the big dog. You gave a 20 ball, Tanisha. Jari says, when you date Latina, Spanish don't hurt. Y'all so weak for the box. So weak to the box. Timeout says Anton Copasso. Ukinamastic. I have no idea what y'all talking about. I think we should give Chicago over to women and migrants. What do y'all think about that? I agree. I agree with myself, all right? But on the flip side, now migrants get to ride the private jet, the PJ. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There is a battle, not only with the governor of Texas and Greg Abbott going back and forth with the Biden administration, but there is a battle between Chicago and Texas. Let me bring y'all up to speed. Now, in order for me to have this conversation, some of you guys are just here for the first time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Also, on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, right? But I need to remind y'all, in order to help you to understand what's going on about this battle. Yes, it is a civil war that is happening on American soil right between the states of Chicago and Texas, and it is playing out right in front of us, and we don't even realize it. You didn't know that the real civil war that was going to happen on American soil had nothing to do with whether or not you looked at it this way or the gender war. It is happening between the states right now. But I need to bring y'all up to speed of what's happening over the last couple of weeks in order to really help you to understand it, right? So this is what happened in Chicago in retaliation of Texas busing migrants up to Chicago. Texas, Florida, Arizona, they've been busing these migrants up to Chicago, and in Chicago and New York and Denver said that, well, we're sanctuary cities. We support this. Then they start fluttering and floundering and messing up the money. And Biden said that we not really going to, you know what I'm saying, hold you down. So Chicago, to get back at Texas, says, if you send another bus up here, we going to impound the bus and we going to fine up to $750 per migrant. Let me show you.
Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration has reportedly begun filing lawsuits over what it describes as rogue buses transporting migrants. The Tribune reports that 55 lawsuits have been filed since new rules were implemented last month regulating when and where buses can arrive. The mayor's office is now seeking the ability to impound buses that don't follow those rules and fine owners up to $3,000. That ordinance will be discussed at next week's City Council.
Now, I'm going to switch over for a second.
Lawmakers in Chicago are holding a special city council meeting right now to discuss the city's growing migrant housing crisis. Now, this comes as the Chicago suburb of Rosemont is now banning illegal migrants, cracking down on Texas bus companies bringing asylum seekers, even threatening to slap a $750 fine per person on drivers who let a migrant off a bus. Another suburb declaring it is out of space to shelter new arrivals. Joining us now is Rosemont's Mayor Bradley Stevens. Bradley, thank you so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. We'll get to the details of the ban in just a moment. But since August of last year, Chicago's reportedly accepted nearly 26,000 migrants who are now sheltered around Chicago, including at police stations. What's been the experience of your community as of late when it comes to this migrant crisis?
Well, our community is right outside of O'Hare Field, and over the last week, we've encountered just around 20 buses of folks that are coming seeking asylum, and we just are not equipped to handle that. And we don't think that it's humane in any way to have these buses come and just drop these people on sidewalks and tell them, okay, we're done, we're out of here. So what our ordinance does is it fines the bus company and the driver. It allows us to arrest the driver. I believe statute even allows us to arrest a driver for putting these people's lives in danger. And it allows us to impound the buses. And we're just not going to have it. There needs to be a plan. And unfortunately, this starts at the top, this starts at the federal government, and there just has never been a real plan.
So, in the last segment of the show where I showed you what was happening at the border, and that now that Greg Abbott signed a law that allows for state and city officers and sheriffs to stop and arrest anybody that's crossing over into this country illegally, what they found is that they've already stopped and arrested over 11,000 in one day, 10,000 in one day, and now it's looking like, as some of you said inside of the chat, the Million Migrant March, and they're just flooding the border. I mean, they are coming over in droves. And at the forefront of this problem and this crisis is Texas and other states that cannot and will no longer allow for their state to be overrun, and they don't support this. They don't support open borders and illegal immigration, and they shouldn't, nor should they. And so when they started busting this up, it took them a couple years, but eventually Chicago said, you know what? One more bus up in my city, and I'm going to impound it, and we finding y'all up to $750 per migrant. Yep. That's what they did. And so it took them a couple years to come up with a strategy, but Chicago said, we're not going to have it. Say something else. Say something. You drop another migrant off of my city, we're going to start impounding and sending y'all back to where y'all came from. So Chicago feeling some type of way because after they called themselves a sanctuary city and they embraced it, when they found out that Biden didn't have their back and Kamala Harris wasn't going to do nothing at the border, then they wanted to about face. Okay. Well, Greg said, I got something for you. You don't want to take our buses? Okay. And let me tell you what was the real nail in the coffin for Chicago. When Brandon Johnson did this press conference and he called Governor Greg Abbott raggedy, he said Governor Greg Abbott is raggedy. Now, he ain't going to say nothing about PB Pritzker up there, but he definitely going to call out the people that he think that he can get some brownie points on. Let me show you what he said, because you don't believe me.
Brandon Johnson says Texas Governor Greg Abbott is making a bad situation worse with migrants continuing to arrive in Chicago as shelter space remains scarce.
Our political reporter Tamon Bradley is here now with more on the mayor's reaction to how these drop-offs have changed in recent weeks.
They sure have been, and Lord, as communication has broken down between Texas and Chicago. Buses full of migrants are arriving just about every day without coordination, and Mayor Johnson is not happy about it.
Today, Mayor Brandon Johnson on the West Side celebrating the opening of a community reentry support center.
This country has had an addiction on incarceration, spending more on incarceration than we do to educate a family. But aren't you glad there's a new day in the city of Chicago?
Johnson's tone shifted from celebratory to frustrated when asked about the death of a migrant boy and rogue buses from Texas randomly dropping off new arrivals.
They're just dropping all people anywhere. Do you understand how raggedy and how evil that is? You're just going to put people on a bus and just take them somewhere and drop them off in the middle?
I thought y'all was a sanctuary city. I thought that y'all had the infrastructure, the money, the budget, and y'all was gonna hold it down. That y'all was standing on business. Don't call me evil. Don't call nobody evil. This is your cross to bear. You decided that you wanted to rock out with it, and now you want to call us evil and raggedy?
Middle of the night.
Johnson administration officials say that migrants are no longer being dropped off at the city's landing zone and that buses are doing this in response to harsher penalties for bus owners who violate a new city ordinance. Last month, Chicago implemented new rules requiring buses arrive Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. in designated areas. But some buses have begun dropping off migrants in nearby municipalities. Mayor Johnson lashed out at Republican Governor Greg Abbott, the architect of the busing program.
We have a governor, an elected official in the state of Texas that is placing families on buses without shoes, cold, wet, tired, hungry, afraid, traumatized. The governor of Texas needs to take a look in the mirror of the chaos that he is causing for this country.
Meanwhile,
is it the governor of Texas that's causing the chaos for this country? Or is it the Biden administration, including Kamala Harris, that is standing on business and holding the country hostage and refuse to close our borders? They refuse to give our border patrol the tools necessary needed and the infrastructure and the manpower to stop the flow of migrants into this country. We got the power to wage any kind of war. We got the technology. We flying drones. We sending men to the moon. But you trying to tell me that we can't get structure and infrastructure in place for us to be able to stop the stem of people just walking into the country without any kind of problems whatsoever? You telling me that we sending rockets and we can control and see and go out there and hunt down Osama bin Laden, but we can't figure out how to stop people from sliding through the fence, doing the cha-cha slide. Slide again. Cha-cha real smooth now. Turn it out. To the left. Arizona now, y'all. Texas. Oklahoma City. Florida. You telling me that we don't have the ability to stop the flow of migrants into this country, but we absolutely positively can fund multiple different wars endlessly forever until the end of time? Cha-cha real smooth now. Turn it out. To the left. To the right now, y'all. That's right. One hop this time. Two hops this time. Crisscross. Clap your hands. Then Brandon Johnson said, how low can you go? Can you go to the flow? Woo! Woo! He went to Greg Abbott. He said, you's a evil man. Raggedy. Oh, man. But Greg said, I got something for your black mohawk. I got something for you. Watch what we gonna do. You want to stop the buses? I got something for you.
This morning, the crisis at the southern border going airborne. Texas Governor Greg Abbott releasing video and announcing he's now flying migrants to Chicago, 120 arriving on the first flight because the city, quote, started obstructing and targeting our busing mission, adding, until Biden steps up to secure the border, we will continue to provide overwhelmed Texas border towns with much needed relief. It comes after Abbott signed a law this week that, if upheld, would authorize local police to arrest migrants suspected of crossing the border illegally. A record 12,000.
Can we get a round of applause for Greg? Listen, I think that Brandon Johnson has barked up the last thing you should have did was call this man raggedy and evil. Now he's sending PJs. Look, ladies, my Mercedes, if y'all ever want to fly on a PJ, Go down to Texas and look to get to Chicago. He said, look, I think that Brandon Johnson is playing checkers. Greg Abbott is playing chess. He said, oh, so you want to find the buses now. We sending them on a PJ. He's sending them on the PJ. He's sending them all over to Chicago. Oh, we going to drop them off right there on the Clearport, right on the runway at Chicago's airport.
600 crossing in one day alone.
And there's more people in the pipeline. And I suspect Christmas will be worse than today. And New Year's will be worse than today. We're going the absolute wrong direction.
ABC's Maria Villarreal is in Eagle Pass, Texas.
There has been a steady flow of migrants funneling through this grassy pit. One group leaves on a bus and another one is escorted over the riverbank. Just yesterday, 4,400 apprehensions in this area alone. Many will wait 10 to 12 hours just to be processed. Some will wait up to 2 days. Overnight, they'll sleep on this dirt with no shelter, just the clothes on their back and those foil blankets. Processing facilities are full. Agents tell me they are overworked and overwhelmed.
We need to surge immigration judges to the border. This is America. People need to get their cases heard in days, not years. And if they do not qualify for asylum, they need to be deported.
And now growing concern about the economic impact of this surge in migrants. Officials recently closed some rail crossings at the border, halting freight trains that carry everything from produce to auto parts. One rail company says the shutdown is costing $200 million per day.
As the number of migrants in Chicago surpasses 26,000 and city officials crack down on bus drivers violating local laws, Texas officials are changing their tactics. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider.
I'm Dawn Hasbrook. A new development for the first time. Migrants were flown here on a private plane. Casey Cronus is live at O'Hare, where additional planes could be on the way. Casey.
Oh, they coming.
And city officials likely will not know until they are here. That is what happened last night. Texas officials say it is in response to the city obstructing its busing program, while local leaders are calling it trafficking. The direction of Texas.
Hey, Chicago said you trafficking migrants in here into this sanctuary city. Yo, I think that Greg Abbott is a Hall of Fame, all-time Nobel Peace Prize winning governor of the United States of America. Greg Abbott should be running for, listen, if it wasn't Trump or Vivek, I would, in a heartbeat, I just don't want to lose them over there in Texas. We need people like this on the forefront of the movement. We need people to be taught stopping. They flying out these bad chicks out here straight from the border over there to Chicago. Anybody that was looking to take a trip to Chicago, you might want to pause. You might want to pause. Anybody that was looking to take a trip to Chicago this winter, you might want to get a new destination to go to because we got some bad migrants coming into the Clearport.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott. More than 100 migrants boarded a private plane from El Paso to O'Hare Tuesday. Abbott's office tells our sister station in Dallas that because Mayor Brandon Johnson is, quote, targeting migrant buses from Texas, we are expanding our operation to include flights to Chicago.
Yo, I wish we could have him in Michigan. That's the only thing that would be better for me personally is to have this man as the governor of Michigan to replace, what's that lady's name? I don't like her. Gretchen Whitmer. That's the only thing better than having him as the governor of Texas is to have him as the governor of Michigan. We need him as the governor of Michigan. Shout out to Greg Abbott. I think that he is one of the greatest governors of all time.
Unquote.
We have a governor that now openly and defiantly is saying that he's going to commit human trafficking to show Chicago and to teach us a lesson.
Monday, the mayor announced harsher penalties for bus drivers who don't follow guidelines, including impounding and towing buses that try to skirt the law.
Mm-hmm. They're just dropping all people anywhere. Do you understand how raggedy and how evil that is?
Yep, that was your first
Park
mistake.
Now passing its own set of ordinances, discouraging buses from stopping there.
This is about, making the bus companies be accountable.
The village has not gotten any migrant buses, but if it does, bus companies will need to fill out an application requesting permission and identify everyone on board for background checks.
And assures us that you're providing them a safe place to stay. They have to know who they're taking up. Not only is that for the safety of the bus and other passengers on the bus, but also the communities that they're arriving in.
City officials say that buses have already tried dropping migrants off in Cicero, Schiller Park, and Rosemont. And in response to today's developments, Alderman Sigcho Lopez is calling on the federal government to launch an investigation into Abbott's practices.
Nope. It's Texas versus everybody. Texas versus everybody. And I'm on the side of Texans. Yeah, right. You know that's a lie, Aaron. Texas versus everybody. And I'm on the side of Texas. I'm willing to give monies over to donate to Greg Abbott's fund for re-election or whatever it is that we need to do. Texas versus everybody. Shout out to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. I think he's one of the best politicians out here in these streets, man. Jonathan Anderson says not only the migrant crisis, but more pregnant women looking to have children right here in the United States of the Americas. Anton Cucamonjo Duranche, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to you, LL Music. Jones FX426 says, AD, do you remember this? Dollars and pesos will be replaced with a new North American currency called Amero. No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. Y'all gonna have to fill me in on that one. A.R. Smitty says, B. Johnson ain't so haughty. Now, listen, the government over in Texas, the monies that's flowing back and forth on a state level versus being able to fight against a city, it's big bank take little bank. They gonna lose that fight. They gonna lose that fight. Keep on calling names, calling people evil and raggedy and see what happens. Sands Entertainment says, bro, you funny as hell, sir. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. CivLap is in the building, says, solution to Texas flying in migrants and pound of planes. When they go low, go lower. Nope. Nope. You can't impound planes. Devastator says, Brandon Johnson, stay wearing that same suit. I ain't gonna even lie. I'll be wearing some of the same Levi's back to back. Dark Side is in the building, says, y'all voted Biden and Harris. Now a border crisis, as the song sang, this is America. AL is in the building again, says, nope, flights can't land in ORD. Send them to DTW. No, nope, we're going right there to ORD. We want Chicago area airports to learn to live with what it is that they decided to vote for. Aaron says, Gretchen just made Detroit. Yeah, right. You know they ain't doing that. She ain't that crazy. The fastest way to get your butt voted out over here in Michigan and Detroit is to make yourself a sanctuary city. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Now I got to bring my ladies, my Mercedes, to the front of the congregation. Diddy can't catch a break out here in these streets. I'm telling you, this man can't catch a break. If I was Diddy, I would just retire. I would just go ahead and wrap it up and retire. Call it a day. You had a good run. Go over there and join Russell Simmons. Take what you can. Get the heck out of Dodge. Because it's nothing like having a Christian Keys. I'm sorry. A modern woman and all of their friends coming out of the woodwork to talk about what you did last summer. Ain't nobody had no details before, and I ain't seen this yet, but ain't nobody had nothing to say. But now everybody want to come out of the woodwork. Case in point, a Cassie associate with red hair is feeling as though they suffered through watching Diddy do this stuff and implement all of this stuff over to Cassie. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Every day, we got a new Christian Keys. Modern woman coming out to accuse a man, especially Diddy. He's your new punching bag. Let me say this before I play this video. Ever since Diddy showed up and tried to inspire black people on Earn Your Leisure. Them my guys over there, so shout out to them. But ever since he came up here and he was over there capping, he ain't been able to catch a break.
Music mogul and rapper Sean Diddy Combs has faced 4 different lawsuits in recent weeks alleging sexual assault and abuse, all of which he has denied. The first of those came from singer Cassie Ventura, known as Cassie, who accused Combs of sexual abuse and sex trafficking during the decade they were together. NBC's entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas spoke exclusively to a longtime friend of Cassie's who said she witnessed some troubling incidents. Chloe?
Good evening, Ellison. Singer-songwriter, activist Tiffany Red had been working with Cassie on an album when she first met Diddy and says that she witnessed him verbally abusing her friend. Following Cassie's settlement with Diddy, Red penned an open letter in Rolling Stone about her experience. She spoke to me about the events that she says traumatized her.
I don't think people understand what it's like to be traumatized by somebody famous and rich, because you can't get away from them.
Tiffany Red has written for the likes of Zendaya, Jason Derulo, and Jennifer Hudson. In 2015, she became friends with Cassie while writing songs for her album. At that point, Cassie and Diddy had been together for nearly 8 years. In a lawsuit Cassie filed last month, she detailed the abuse she says Diddy committed, including physical assault. Red says although she did not know about the alleged physical assault while working with Cassie, she did witness verbal abuse on more than one occasion, one of which took place during Cassie's 29th birthday in 2015. Red says Diddy showed up at karaoke, where Cassie and a group of friends were celebrating.
So he had her backed into the corner, and he was like cussing her out with his hand in her face.
Later that night, Red, who was staying at Cassie's home, says she awoke to screaming.
Oh, he's standing in the living room area, and she's there, and he was like, emotional singing, bitch. There you are. And I just was like, oh, he's talking to me. And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside. And
so you was staying at the crib that he was paying for her. Yo, the way that they describe this stuff, and remember, I'm not even a Diddy fan. I don't even care. I've never listened to the Love album that he recently dropped or anything. But the way that they describe stuff, I just feel like I am standing at the monster inside of me. Man, listen, bro. Any dude that sit there and say, take that, take that, take that. I'm not worried about him. I heard that Wale got hung over his shoes over a balcony like Vanilla Ice, and he was out there getting talked out of his shoes for having a private conversation with Cassie. Now everybody is scared of the monster. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody cared when he sent making the band over to Justin's in order to get some cheesecake. But now everybody feeling the way about it. Okay.
And I remember looking in his eyes, and I said to him, what did y'all do? Because I could see that she was really sedated. That was the first time I ever seen her high before. And then he says, tell your girl she wants some birthday.
Listen, I wasn't expecting that one. Tell your girl she wants some birthday D. All right, that's wild. Hey, tell your girl she. Yo, I believe her too. I believe her. I don't like the fact that they coming out 40 years later accusing, but saying, hey, tell your girl she wants some birthday D is crazy. That's some crazy junk, bro. Hey, tell your girl she wants some birthday D is wild, bro. I ain't even gonna front. Now that's wild. That is a wild one right there. That's a haymaker. That's a haymaker. All right. I don't know how to respond to that one. I don't know how to defend that one. Yo, can you imagine hearing your homeboy say, hey, man, tell your girl she wants some birthday D? I'll be like, what? What What's going on over there? Rebuke the devil. Rebuke the devil. That's crazy. It's Junior's, not Justin's? Oh, my bad. You're right. Thank you for correcting me. That's why I love to chat.
And we were like, well, I mean, he's saying this to me, and I'm like, well, she doesn't have to have sex with you if she doesn't want to.
That ain't what you said.
Like, you know,
that is not
I
what
guess
you said.
That she didn't want to do with him whatever he wanted. I don't know. I don't feel like I could advocate for myself in that moment. Like, I realized, like, oh, this guy is dangerous.
Red says it was only a few months ago that Cassie told her what was really going on that night in 2015, that it all stemmed from the music executive wanting her to take part in what he called a freak-off against.
Not the freak-off again. Oh, Diddy, you ain't never going to get away with this one. Yo, I don't think that Diddy can ever come back from this. He going to have to go ahead and be reincarnated as something else because he never going to. Yo, when I read that entire lawsuit, the thing that stuck out to me the most was the freak-offs. Of everything that was in that lawsuit, because a lot of that stuff is self-inflicted wounds. When they said that Diddy wanted to do a freak-off, I said, oh, God, this man want to get another man to go over here and bust his chick down? That's crazy. That's crazy. But then I have to wonder, like, because, you know, he was allegedly with Lori Harvey and what's that chick's name, Young Miami? What was they doing? Did they do the freak-offs too? It's crazy, bro.
Her will.
What did Cassie tell you about these freak-offs?
You know, that he would hire these, like, sex workers and, like, they would have, you know, sex with her or whatever, and he would watch and tell them what to do.
In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges she was forced to participate in freak-offs throughout her relationship with Diddy. Red learning recently one horrific detail from Cassie.
She told me the only time he was willing to do anything or work on her music, go through any plans, any of that, was when she had a freak-off. So all of our music, all my work, to find out that, like, I spent all these years writing these songs for him to rape my friend to, like, is just disgusting.
All right, wait. We not going to just throw words out there because words mean things. I didn't hear anything in that lawsuit personally because I read every single page. I didn't see anything in that lawsuit that she dropped. I didn't see anything in that lawsuit that said that he raped her. Nothing. Not one thing. I didn't see anything in there. And see, this is why we got to be careful with our words, right? Because it's one thing to be extra freaky and extra kinky. And it's another thing to make allegations. But then to just throw a wild word out there like that, no, we can't. We just not going to do that. We not going to do that. We not going to do that. I'm not for it. I don't have to like Diddy. I don't have to like anything that he does. I don't have to agree with him. I don't even have to understand what it is that's going on. But you can't just throw wild words out there like that because that junk means stuff. You can't just do it. Is Diddy a monster? Probably. Is he a super freak? Probably. But you just can't just throw that out there. If you didn't see anything happen, you can't just throw that out there. You can't just say that. That's wild to me.
For him to rape my friend to, like, is just disgusting.
In the lawsuit, Cassie detailed the physical abuse she says Diddy committed, including an instance where she was put in a hotel room for days to heal. Red says Cassie recently told her about Diddy giving her a black eye before the premiere of her 2016 film, The Perfect Match.
I remember one time her telling me that, I think it might have been The Perfect Match, that movie that she was in. And she told me that she had a black eye under her makeup.
Do you believe
I don't
Diddy
believe it.
is a dangerous person?
Yes.
Cap.
I do.
Why?
I mean, look at his rap sheet.
An attorney for Cassie declined to comment. Diddy's attorney did not respond. In 2015, Diddy was arrested on 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon and other charges for allegedly beating up his son's football coach. Prosecutors declined to file felony charges related to that arrest. 24 hours after Cassie filed her lawsuit, she and Diddy announced that they had reached an undisclosed settlement. Combs released a statement saying, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best." His lawyer adding that the settlement was, quote, "in no way an admission of wrongdoing."
I mean, I just feel like it's PR.
We don't care what you feel like. The only thing we care about is what is the truth. What is the truth? Man, I'm going to just tell you, as much as everybody want to come out and clout chase and get some money and everything. Like, listen, we don't even know who this woman is. We have no clue who this woman is. We never seen her a day in our life. Apparently, she's some kind of writer or she made some songs and stuff. But all of a sudden, she want to be contacted. She writing articles for the Rolling Stone. And she want to be in front of the camera in order to get some visibility. Why? Why? I need to know, why is it important for this woman that has seen or hasn't seen anything or witnessed anything, and all of it is hearsay, because everything that she's saying could basically be substantiated and say, okay, so he wanted to freak off. Tell us something that we don't know. I'm not going for it. I don't know who this woman is. If I seen her walking down the street, I would just be like, oh, okay, that's just a regular chick. It's just a regular chick. Why is it important for this person to all of a sudden come out? How come it wasn't important for her to come out when she allegedly heard about it in the beginning? Come on, man. We can't just automatically condemn people based off of the court of public opinion.
He's settled because he doesn't want to go to court.
Diddy's music career spans 3 decades, including 3 Grammy Awards and the creation of Bad Boy Records, representing artists from Mary J. Blige to the late Notorious B.I.G. In September, he was awarded MTV's Global Icon Award. But since the allegations surfaced, Hulu scrapped a reality series about his family, and the Recording Academy said they are considering to rescind his invite to this year's Grammys.
You know, I think a lot of people, especially in the black community, are, you know, I've seen the narrative of like, you know, they just trying to take a black man down. And it's just like, that's not what this is about.
What is it about?
That's not what this is about. This is about accountability and a reckoning. Like, that's just the bottom line.
As for what justice looks like,
I think justice looks like Diddy being behind bars. And I also think that justice looks like everybody getting retribution for all of the.
And what is retribution? Because you know it's always going to come back down to a dollar amount. That's what this whole thing in this whole country is built on, is a dollar amount. Because if it wasn't, then she would have seen a lawsuit through in order to do the discovery and then bring out all of the details. But I think that it all comes back down to a dollar amount. And so you can't fool me, man. I don't care how red your hair is. I don't care how much you claim to the top of the mountains. Without evidence in this country, in the United States of America's, you have to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the way it should be, not in the court of public opinion, of how you feel. What is retribution? Retribution of what? So you want to lock him up and then take all of his bread, right?
The amount of therapy, like I just said, all of the moments.
Look at her. Look at the scene.
Like, these are our careers.
Look at the scene.
And Chloe is back with us now. You hear her saying justice looks like Diddy behind bars. Is there a possibility that could still happen? Where does the criminal case stand?
So Cassie filed her federal civil suit here in New York, and the NYPD has come out and said that there is no investigation into Diddy right now. Now, that doesn't mean that the district attorney of Manhattan isn't looking into something, or perhaps investigations going on behind the scenes. But publicly, on the record, no such investigation has been confirmed. And also, there have been other lawsuits of some women coming forward with other similar accusations and allegations.
Cap.
And who knows if others might come forward as well. Remember, the Adult Survivors Act is set to expire at the end of this month in the state of California. And we know that Diddy, that is where he has primarily resided. So you never know if others might come forward between now and the new year.
And you spent.
Stop, bro. I'm just not going for it. I don't believe any of these people. Honestly, I just don't believe any of these people. You got to convince me beyond a reasonable doubt, because you're just not going to have me taking your word for it, especially after I seen what happened to Jonathan Majors and Johnny Depp and so many others. Kung Fu Hustler says Migrants is the new civil war. Appreciate you, big dog. Bree Powered says Diddy needs to join Russell Simmons in Bali and stay gone. Yeah, I think it's over for Diddy. I don't think we're going to be hearing from him anymore. AL says he sent Red to get some Cambodia. I just wish they would just let this go. If she dropped the lawsuit, then what else is there to talk about? All right, so I want to get into the money aspect of it, but we're going to do it a little bit differently today. We're going to do it a little bit differently before Friday. So I have a question. And the question is, as we go through this story, and I have not seen the story yet, so I'm going to react to it in real time, just like I always do. As we go through this story, here's my question. A lot of people are complaining about inflation, can't afford things, homelessness. I think that homelessness is one of the top 3 issues that's happening inside of the United States, along with fatherless households and immigration problems. But my question as we view this and as we react to this next segment of the show is, and I want you to also take into consideration your own life when we look at this, how much of our wounds or our situations are self-inflicted versus we just being victims of what the economy or what society or the hand has dealt to us. Let me say it again. How much of our situation is self-inflicted wounds versus it actually being just the hand that we were dealt, or the economy, or circumstantial, or something that happened to us that drove us into homelessness. And the reason that I say that is because when you guys sent this to me, now, one of the things that I like to do to get some insight into whether or not it's something that I want to react to without actually watching the video is I like to go and I read some of the first 5 comments, right? And the first 5 comments kind of give me the sentiment of what people feel about when they watch the video. And the comments in this video before we watch it was, oh my God, I hope this woman get on her feet. I've been homeless before. I know what it feels like. And most people are 1 paycheck away from losing everything. Okay, fair enough. But then when I looked at the headline of the actual video, it said, homeless woman with 7 kids and 2 dogs. 7 kids and 2 dogs, which led me to ask the question to you guys. How much of this is self-inflicted wounds versus it actually being just the circumstance or the society by which we live in? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
This morning, the homeless crisis in Central Florida putting some families in some very tough places for the holidays.
Fox 35's Danielle Knox found a family in Apopka forced to live out of their pickup truck, and she's live in studio with the latest on this. Danielle.
Good morning, guys. You see that pickup truck here behind me, and a family is leaning on their faith this holiday season and really every day. It's been a really rough road for a mother and her 7 children and nephews, all living, that's right, living in that one vehicle. Homelessness in plain sight. I went out to meet with her at her car, and she says she's optimistic about her future, though things are very difficult in the present.
Got them Yeezy sandals on.
The hustle and bustle of a weekday morning. People with places to be. But unless you look closely, you might not even notice the old pickup truck parked in the dirt underneath some shade trees. Shade that hides a glaring fact. The occupants are homeless.
I lost my place due to the fact of the inflation being so high. I wasn't able to keep up with the rent.
So 47-year-old Sanella Perdue has lived in this truck since May with her 7 children and nephews and 2 small dogs, all of them sleeping in this tight space every single night. Sanella's swollen legs, a physical reminder of the cramped conditions.
It's horrible. I mean, I wake up in aches and pain. My kids wake up from here to go to the store to get dressed and go to school, and it's bad.
Can I just give my opinion based off of what I've seen so far? This ain't nothing but child abuse. That's what it is. And listen, I'm sympathetic. I have empathy because, I just don't like to see people suffer. But I'm also objective enough to call a spade a spade. This is pure abuse. This is real abuse right here. To bring children into this world and have them sleep. And see, what we'll do is we'll blame it on the government. We'll blame it on inflation. We'll blame it on Trump, Biden, Kamala Harris, Cam. We'll blame it on everybody else. But you got 2 dogs, which is like 2 children that can't talk, and 7 kids. A lot of people in here saying, well, where is CPS? Where is the father? Who are you having children with? No. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Let's have a real conversation right now. Why is it the government's responsibility to take care of you and your children when you decided to open up your legs to have seven children and then you went out and got 2 dogs? If you can't feed yourself, why would you then feed 2 dogs? The narrative was, well, I lost or I became homeless based off of inflation. Inflation of what? Who made you have 7 children? Because usually, whatever your financial circumstance is, and I know that most people are 1 or 2 paychecks away or they live in paycheck to paycheck, you didn't know that your situation was dire or messed up? You didn't know that you had health problems? And again, I wish that we could solve for homelessness. I believe that it is a top 3 issue in this country. But again, the question that I'm asking myself is not just to feel sorry for people, but to solve for the problem. I intentionally had 1 child because I was I was okay with the possibility of not having any children. Don't bring any children into this world because I felt like the world was messed up. And it's even more messed up today than it was when I decided to have my kid 15 years ago. Why are the ones that's the most under duress the ones that's having the most sex? Why are the ones that's under the most duress the ones that's having the most sex? I wish I could tell y'all some stories of some of the stuff that I hear on these coaching calls. I wish I could tell y'all some stories of some stuff that I hear on some of these coaching calls. It's crazy. I have one person that I'm coaching, and they became a foster mother to a child, to a young kid. And I was talking, and I'm like, hey, so, is the mother ever going to be in a position to where they can get the kid back or whatever? And they said, Anton, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? They said, oh, she got multiple different kids and having them in multiple different foster parents. And so she got to go around and try to make time to even visit the kids in the first place. I said, did she get her tube tied or she's still having kids? She said, I'm on a Zoom call. Did she get her tubes tied? Your body, your choice, though, right? It's your body, your choice, but my money, my tax dollars. Because remember, guys, this is not just us helping and supporting, or it's not just going to be on the terms of whoever the baby daddy is or whatever, if she can find them, if she even know who they are. This is on all of us. Because then when you say, well, where's CPS? That's our money. That's social services. That's social services. That then becomes, when you look at your paycheck every single week or bi-weekly, I know some of y'all got paid today. When y'all look at y'all paycheck and they got that money's coming out of there, that's your money going over to support people that's making bad decisions on a regular basis. And then they are requiring the government, or they blaming it on inflation when they have an inflated amount of kids for us to now take care of as a society. No rubbers. How do you have sex when you poor? The last thing that I wanted to do when I went through whatever it is that I went through in 2008 financial crisis was get some box. I was like, I ain't got time to be focusing on a box. I'm trying to go and get some money. I ain't got time to be laying up with you. We one step away from having to use our savings to be able to survive out here in these streets.
Dress and go to school, and it's bad.
That's cruelty.
The
This ain't
kids
nothing but
range in
cruelty.
age from 11 to 17 were blurring their faces to preserve their dignity. They get ready for
11 to 17. Listen, y'all. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be some additional context that helps me to look at it differently. And of course, they're going to be taking the photo. You know how it is. 11 to 17. That's back to back, back to back, back to back with no brakes. All gas, no brakes. Listen, y'all. 11 to 17. That's all gas, no brakes. If you know, you know. If you understand what I'm saying, you get it. All gas, no brakes. Just go. Just go. All gas, no brakes. (11 through 17). That's all gas, no brakes.
For school by washing up at a nearby convenience store, eating what they can, and studying where they can. It is not easy.
They don't like it. They cry. Emotionally, I can't break down. I have to keep going. So I keep God first, and I have to give it prayer every day.
But many of the days of Sanella's life have not been easy. Born in Sanford, she was a normal teenager until a traumatic event at age 19 altered her life forever. She went on disability and was making it okay, she says, until another traumatic event, the brutal murder of her 16-year-old son in 2016.
So she had another kid. This is crazy, bro. This is so crazy, bro. This is insane. The fact that we continue to justify this behavior and we rocking out with it, but y'all think that it's cool, and it now becomes the government's fault and responsibility for how it is that we live in our lives. It's crazy to me, man.
It's hard. This is hard. It's hard to talk about this here.
Got all them rings on, though. Got every ring, a finger on every ring, looking like Tupac and Juice. Right after they got done robbing old man Willis at the liquor store. Kids sleeping in the back, all of this stuff. Some rooftop, dig in the scene where the players lean. Got a ring on every finger. Looking like Tupac and Juice. Yo, this is just bad parenting, man. It's bad parenting, flat out. All the way across the board. It's hard to feel sad for people that have self-inflicted wounds. Flat out, man.
Amongst me and my kids.
Where is the fathers?
She says she went into a spiral after her son's murder, and it still haunts her today.
But I get weak sometimes, so even a strong needs somebody.
Hey, y'all hear the music in the back?
Collects disability and picks up scrap metal for money. She says DCF has been out to her location and the children's schools as well, who say the children come to school well dressed and clean. However, she says DCF has not offered assistance because technically they do have a roof over their heads, their car, and they've acknowledged Sanella is taking good care of the children. But Sanella is hoping to find a permanent roof for her family, not the roof of a car, but an apartment or a transitional housing situation. She says that would be a first step towards living a more normal life.
Hey, guess what? Here comes the GoFundMe and all of the cries and the tears.
Do you feel that you will get out of this situation?
Yes, I do. I do, one day. I'm just praying for a sooner day.
According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, there are more than 31,000 homeless people on our streets on any given night. State agencies and private organizations are overwhelmed. Sanella says because of the size of her family, shelters can't accommodate them all long term. But sometimes, to escape the cramped truck, she gathers enough money for the occasional hotel stay, giving them heat and air conditioning, a bed, a shower, and a sense of normalcy.
This is crazy.
If only for one night.
For people who are going to be watching this story, Candy, what do you want them to know? What would you say to them?
No matter what, never give up. Because there's a God in you that stands strong, and he will make everything possible. Keep praying for me. Pray for me for a better day.
This is wild, bro.
Oh, and
This
so we
is
want to add
wild.
here that we did reach out to DCF last week regarding Sanella's case and have not heard back. Sanella, though, says that her biggest hope, as you heard there in the piece, guys, is to find permanent housing. Unfortunately, that has not happened yet. And, you know, it's cold out here and her resources are very, very limited. And what's also unfortunate is her story mimics hundreds of stories.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No, it don't. No, it don't. That's not normal. That's not normal. Listen, that's not normal. That is not a normal story to have 7 different children. Jesus Christ. Boy, we really do we need an awakening. We need a revival out here in the community. We need a revival out. Could y'all imagine giving reparations out? Jesus. We need a revival. Long as I got King Jesus, I don't need nobody else. It's crazy out here in these streets. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get to the final story. Rod Jones is in the building, says, it's not what you know, is what you can prove. And Alonzo's voice, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Wait. All right, who'd you see come through the door? Who shot him? You see that? Yeah. You see that? Now, if you want to make detective, but I don't have time to be out here babysitting. Okay? Hoyt, give me the shotgun. You got the drop on me. Okay. And Alonzo's voice from Training Day is a money grab. If he's in jail, no money is crazy. Shout out to Rod Jones. I appreciate you. Julian, my dog. Julian Rook says, bro, these artists have been freaking off and signing contracts before Cassie and Diddy was born. We wouldn't have hardly any music. I see y'all still getting y'all freak off to R. Kelly. I still see y'all getting y'all freak off to R. Kelly. Kung Fu Hustler says, some need to be unable to reproduce. You said it, not me. I've been planning this all week, son. I see you, DLC. I see you. Jada Reese is in the building, says, respect this black. She's your queen to be. You disloyal. She's your queen to be. Blaze Skywalker says, just back from my home in ATL to work in VA, and I'm waiting in the parking lot at DeKalb welfare office for my friend right now. Had to turn you down. Step, side to side. Hey, somebody, Tia Marie says, what exactly is a freak off? Hey, somebody in the chat explained to Tia. She must have missed that show. Blaze Skywalker says, I see all the baby mamas with their children at the welfare office going in as you speak, getting free toys, and they jumped out their benzos and they Hellcats. No BS. I believe that. I believe it, Blaze. You are telling the story of our culture. Of our culture. But there is a segment of people that do go to work every day and they are being unjustly laid off. Let me say that again. There is a segment of the population. There's a segment of the population that is going to work every day and they are getting laid off. And you guys sent this to me as a compilation and you said, Anton, I want you to review this because you have not done any compilations lately. As to what is happening out here in these streets for the segment of the population that is going to work. All right. So make sure y'all get the likes up. Also, on top of that, make sure that you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And let's see what y'all sent me today.
So I just got laid off yesterday, and I felt like I needed to come on here and remind everybody that companies genuinely do not give a fuck about you. Yesterday, our company laid off almost 250 people that they promised last year wouldn't need to be laid off. They gave us no indication that this was gonna happen. They said everything was good, the financials were good, we had no reason to worry. And they had all of these people, all of my former coworkers, like working super hard up until the last minute on these like imaginary deadlines and super tight turnaround projects. And it turns out that they were doing that because they wanted the work done before they laid off everybody en masse. So
sound like a smart boss. Was y'all getting paid for the time that y'all was there? If so, what you thought that you was gonna slack off? Thought that you was gonna slack off? Nah. While you here, I need to get everything out of you. And I'm pretty sure that you wasn't working that hard. You don't look like that hard of a worker, man.
You're working late nights, trying to make some imaginary deadline, or not taking vacation, not taking care of your family, or spending time with loved ones because work tells you you have to. Like, stop. Like, absolutely do not listen to them. Because I will be the first to tell you that companies are gonna fire you even if you do all of those things for them.
Let me bring y'all up to speed. All right, she's not partially wrong, but she's partially right. Let me explain. Most of the time, these middle managers that y'all work for, they don't even know. They trying to keep their job. They may be laid off. They trying to get reassigned into another department because we have to have synergy within the company. Y'all know what synergy means? Whenever you're in corporate environments and they start to use the word synergy, start looking for another job immediately. Because what that means in most instances is that we can do more with less. Or maybe you got a merger, or maybe they bought a company and they're going to merge one department with the other and they don't need as many people, right? So a lot of these people and these workers on the bottom, or the people that's in the mire, they just venting. And so you got to take that into consideration. Shout out to Black Beauty. But most of the time, the middle manager, the manager on top of them, and sometimes even the director that's on top of them, have no clue what the financials are, what is coming down the pipeline, how much they're going to have to make adjustments. And it's different scenarios for different situations. So when they told them last year that everything was going to be okay, they probably thought that it was. They probably had some upcoming contract renewals. Maybe they thought the government was going to still rock with them. Maybe they thought that they was going to have just as many clients. They didn't know AI was going to come over and lay them off or whatever. And then the circumstances can change just like that. The stock price can drop. The UAW can strike. The suppliers can now be messed up. And so it's a lot of different scenarios. And layoffs are not entirely based off of the company planning to get rid of you. Layoffs are often circumstantial. And again, it comes from the top down to the bottom. And it's no visibility into what's going to happen. And so you have to be interdependent on somebody else to be able to do their job effectively so you can still have work to work for. But if you're getting paid, then you should continue to do your job effectively until you're not. And stop depending on these companies in order to save y'all. They're not going to save y'all. You have to prepare yourself for a worst case scenario, which then puts you at an advantage and not a disadvantage. But let me continue to hear what they got to say.
Come with me to get laid off. My company is doing layoffs today, and I have a 15-minute surprise meeting on my calendar, and so I imagine that's what's happening.
Yep.
And unfortunately, your role is one that is impacted by the changes. Leadership team has been evaluating our structure, our costs, and we've mapped out certain changes that'll help us better prioritize and streamline the work that we're doing.
So I wasn't wrong. I did get laid off. I was thinking about quitting this job anyway, and at least I have a severance now, so it's better than quitting. Join me on this journey to see how I spend my time till I find something new.
Hopefully you got a husband.
Yay for the tech world.
2 months from today, whatever date it is that you're watching this video, you will be in a better situation.
Who isn't getting laid off right now? Like, I just got another friend tell me that he's getting laid off.
I just got a bonus. I'm not lying. Remember when I showed y'all 2 weeks ago where I got a retention bonus? I didn't even know it was coming. They said, Anton, congratulations. We're going to give you an extra $25,000. What was it, like $25,000, $30,000 after taxes, 401k and all of that stuff. It wound up being like I don't know, it was like 17,000. I never even knew it was coming. I went and tricked it off on all of my friends. I gave it all away. I got a retention bonus. I didn't get laid off. I don't know. Maybe it's a little different for me. Where is it at? Let me look for the blue. There it is. Oh, no, that's not it. Where is it at? Retention bonus right there. See it at the top? I got 17 bands as a retention bonus. Y'all seen it before. Some of us ain't getting laid off. Some of us is getting rewarded for our loyalty. Brittany said they just got to pay. Hey, shout out to the bag chasers. If you're not a bag chaser, your bonus kicked in too, big boy. Shout out to Brittany, just got a pay raise. You got a bonus, Blamar? Just hit your bonus, G Collection. Still bag chasing, Azriel. Ken J, you just got a bonus too? Oh, Black Cartwright, we got to work on that. We got to work on you. Listen, if you're not a bag chaser, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We hiring over here. You need a job? Listen, and all of the people that y'all see on here, these are not black folk. You got a bonus, Mr. Tesla? I like that name. That retention bonus hit. That retention bonus hit. 8K our streets. I love this. I love this bonus plus more PTO and vacation. And I'm carrying over a week of PTO. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and this is all white folks. So I don't want y'all to blame this on race either. They did not lay these people off based off of the color of their skin, but their contribution into the company. You know what I'm saying?
And like that's like 3 in a week. I feel like nobody's really talking about
they must work
how
for the city of New York
is heading into the shitter. And like, I mean, everybody's been saying, you know, eat the rich and corporate greed for the past 3-4 years. But
not gonna happen. We're getting richer every day.
The only reason why those companies were so freaking greedy is because money was free. And that's one of the problems that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, Peter Schiff has been talking about this for years. And if we want change, we have to be talking about this stuff. We have to be communicating. It's getting personal, right? It's already getting personal, but we got to spread it out. Every day we should be talking about this.
Nope. I talk about it on the Millionaire Morning Show all the time. Y'all said that y'all didn't want to hear it. You said you got your own life together and you don't want to hear what I got to say. You gonna get it any means necessary. Okay. Well, then when I told you that the middle class was going on, was going to divide us and it was no longer being middle class, it was going to be rich and poor, you laughed at me. Anton doesn't know what he's talking about. What is he talking about? Anton, you can raise a family of 4 on $50,000 a year. You're out of touch with reality. Now you sitting up here on the TikTok having a conversation with me about how you got laid off. Okay, well then, do your thing. You got it. You got it.
I think there is a chance I could get laid off for a 3rd time, and here are my reasons.
Coming from someone who has been laid off 3 times, here are another couple of things to look for. Has your senior leadership team had a in-person meeting recently, or have they all met, virtually recently? Go to your calendars and look and see if there's a meeting that doesn't happen every single week.
Nope.
On top of that, if it's going to happen imminently, I would go to your HR person's calendar and see if there are multiple 15-minute or 30-minute blocks of time that are blocked out as busy and don't have anybody invited to them yet.
Nope.
I've predicted layoffs at my company in the past.
And then what? Did you get another job or you just got laid off again? You still got laid off like everybody else? It didn't help you?
By doing this, just calendar stalking. And it gives you quite a bit of anxiety because they're not going to tell you that you're on the chopping block until they send out that email and then they add you to the calendar invite. So I don't know, sometimes ignorance is bliss, but also you can't help yourself. So good luck. I hope that you don't get laid off.
Well, the good news keeps on coming. If you didn't believe my post about one-way loyalty
the other day, I've got some data to share with you now. I mean, Forbes happened to update their layoff tracker, and yes, they have a layoff tracker.
What is one-way loyalty? Didn't you get
looking
paid
at
for the job that you was doing?
eliminations within the corporate space, mostly B2B, but some B2C companies in there. And this is everything, not just software companies where we traditionally hear about those layoffs. A couple of the notables, Panera Bread, 17% of their corporate positions have been eliminated. Charles Schwab, 5%. That's an estimated $500 million in savings. Condé Nast, another 5%. LinkedIn.
And guess where it's going to go? Over into whoever it is that's on the board and the shareholders. Whoever it is that's on the board and the shareholders are the ones that's going to benefit. And we're going to benefit from efficiencies. So the more that you protest, the more that you advocate, the more we're going to eliminate, the more that we're going to innovate. All right?
Another 700 positions. That's, I think, 1,300 for the year. All told, that's well over 500,000 jobs this year, and that's just what's.
But the economy is doing well, though. Unemployment is at a record low.
Probably not as bad, but and the scary thing is these companies aren't gaining any efficiencies; they're just cutting costs. So I don't see this getting any better. So if you haven't been preparing for what's next for you and you're still in corporate, I would highly recommend you take the time to do that now.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think the market is going to make a major turnaround until 2025. And this is
who are these TikTok economists? I'm just curious.
Why? Most of the recruiting leaders that I'm talking to are saying that in Q1, Q2 next year, companies are going to start hiring again. But it's not going to be at the rapid rate that they were in 2021.
Of course
We've got another player in the game as well, which is
why would they continue to hire like they did in 2021 when everybody was working from home and money was free and flowing and they didn't have to pay any interest on the money that they was borrowing? Why would they continue to hire at that rate? Why would they hire at work from home jobs anticipating an uptick when they know that all of the monies has already been used and siphoned off and they've extracted as much as they possibly can from the federal government, especially when it came to PPP and COVID funds and all of that? And you got to compete with artificial intelligence and efficiencies and robots. And man, listen, y'all can't even get on the phone with a real person until you go through a whole bunch of prompts that then leads you down a path that's probably going to hang up on you. And then you probably going to get somebody over in India that's doing it much cheaper.
AI. So a lot of companies are looking to automate tasks. They're looking to use AI and they're looking to build leaner and smaller and more efficient teams.
I see you, 187.
We've got to realize that 2021, there was just a mass amount of hiring. There was too much hiring. Companies were over hiring. And now with the layoffs, there's a lot more people on the market. So expect things to swing back to where they were is unrealistic. So in Q1, Q2, things will begin to stay market where that's better.
Just seen the video and they just laid off a bunch of Amazon workers for no reason at all. We got people out here that's crying and stuff. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how they gonna pay their bills or none of that, right?
I thought that y'all was whining about Amazon. I thought y'all didn't like Amazon jobs. I thought that y'all didn't like Amazon jobs. Oh, remember when Amazon was telling y'all that they got a bunch of robots that they replacing, and it's not to actually lay y'all off. It's to work with you. Remember when we did that live stream? And the leaders and the vice presidents of research and development, and they was trying to make it easier so y'all can stop fumbling the bag and complaining about what it is that you got to come. I don't feel like working today. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? You didn't know that all of these robots that was over there being more efficient inside of their warehouses that they was coming out with was going to make it a lot more efficient. And now they actually having physical robots pick up the whole packages and put it down. And they not going to make no mistakes.
But I'm finna show y'all something. Because I told y'all it was coming. I told y'all this was coming. This was going to happen. And now look what's happening. All these people that's standing out. Amazon says warehouse now has deployed more than 750,000 robots. And see now the math what that is, why would you pay somebody something if they
just haven't really been thinking?
That's for you to find out.
I'm not gonna lie, I really been thinking long and hard about doing a podcast about how corporate America really works. And just having
we're not gonna
people
watch it.
come
Don't
on
worry
and
about
talk
it.
about it. Because I'm telling you wholeheartedly, like that's how corporate America works. Literally, they have a physical end of the year and they have a quarterly end of the year, where that's how they look over budgets and
Yep.
how to figure out like
That's true.
what's the next step, what's the budget
They're
for
planning
hiring,
for the- they're
what's
planning for the
budget
next year.
for different things that they have. I truly, really, really, really believe that a lot of companies, just in corporate America, like especially startup companies, it was a great big deal to start a company, especially like tech companies. It was a great time to start them pretty much end of 2019, 2020, just because guess what? They were getting a lot of loans to go ahead and function to do this. Like prime example, I worked at one company and they literally were making so much money, they couldn't even keep up with it. They had to hire like temps to physically come in and do the work because that's how much revenue that they were getting in. They could not keep up with the capacity of the company need. And so you have that. And then guess what? Now, fast forward to 2023, we're looking back at the books from 2020 to 2021. We were making billions of dollars, but now we're not even making a fraction of that.
Correct.
So honestly and truly, like, that's what companies do. They literally physically lay people off at the end of the fiscal year. Out with the old,
Fiscal, not
in
fiscal.
with the new.
Not fiscal. Well, but part of that is it's the fluctuation, right? And so I'll give you an example. There was a lot of accelerated growth in a lot of these companies during the pandemic. For example, Zoom, Peloton, Zillow, all of these companies, right? And I'll give you another example, like banks, Zillow and all of those places. And they were making a lot of money because people were accelerating the purchases. Disney Plus took off at that time, and now Disney Plus is reeling. A lot of mergers, a lot of work from home jobs. And so when they accelerated the growth and the hiring, they basically took what the normal growth was going to be, and then they fast forwarded it. And then what happened is they didn't really have any growth going forward. And so you also accelerated purchasing, buying. A lot of people was flush with money. They was doing a lot of e-commerce, online shopping, all of that stuff, right? But they didn't have a sustainable business model. They was just making a whole lot of money at that particular time. And so they was just trying to keep up with demand instead of planning for the future. It's similar when it came to content creation. How was it any different? I'll give you an example, another example. During the pandemic, it was a lot of people. You can name them. I'm sure a lot of y'all probably follow them, but you probably don't anymore. You ain't checking for their content. But it was a lot of different platforms that took off during the pandemic. And I was one of them, right? I was prepared. And so when opportunity meets preparation, once I got the visibility, I already felt like I was better than everybody else. And so once I started getting the visibility, it was up from there. And then I used my platform in order to continue to grow other platforms and make them big, right? But I never depended on that, and I never actually focused on the growth. I only focused on growth within because I knew that in order for me to continue to be great and to separate myself from everybody that got visibility during the pandemic, I was planning on what happens once everybody goes back to work or when everybody gets back to normal. And so what I was doing was I was scoping out the competition in order to separate myself from everybody, because getting a whole bunch of subscribers at one time did not necessarily mean that you was going to have a sustainable business model once people realized that you wasn't as good as you thought that you was. And so now what we see now is everybody is washed out. And only the cream of the crop continue to rise above everybody else. And there's platforms that's dying. Doesn't mean that people necessarily unsubscribe from the platform, but they're not watching it no more because they can't keep up and they can't compete with the people that's actually putting out the great content. It's the same way across the board for everything. Whether you selling a bike, whether you creating content, whether you providing a service, there's always going to be highs and lows. The real estate market, boom and bust. Everybody was trying to refinance their home at one point. It was a whole bunch of real estate agents. Remember when everybody got into trucking at the same time? And they was telling y'all, go get a box truck. Go buy and be an owner operator. Because they was charging crazy rates because they had a whole lot of demand in logistics and semiconductor chip shortages, and everybody was working from home. And so it became an e-commerce boom, and then truckers was making a whole lot of money. And then next thing you know, everybody was like, well, the rates is crazy. Everybody getting laid off. I can't afford my truck anymore. Then all of the trucking gurus disappeared. You couldn't miss during the pandemic when it came to being able to pick a stock or anything like that. And I was telling y'all, I said, yo, make sure you're making the right decision for 10 years from now, not right now, because a lot of these companies are going to go boom and bust. Female rap elite says, that's your problem. You're not better than everyone, though. You way too arrogant. It's probably appealing to broken people. Yet you subscribe to the channel to even be able to say that. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me? Being humble gets you further. Nah, being your daddy get me further. And you probably ain't even got no bars. We don't even like female rappers. I don't have to be humble for you. My numbers speak for itself. Yeah, it do. I'm one of the top 50 in the entire United States of America. My growth speaks for itself. What you gonna do? How can you stop me? You had to subscribe to even be able to type that to me. You had to go through a barrier to entry just to be able to get on my radar for me to recognize you. You're nothing to me. I want to know how big your platform is and how great you are. Oh, you're not great at all? You're not good? You don't even have a check mark next to your name? You don't even qualify to speak to me. You should be praising me. You should be worshiping me. You should be getting some coaching to understand how it is that you can grow your platform. You're not touching me. I'm going to be here for a long time until I decide that I don't want to be here anymore. And if you're not soaking up the game to better understand it, then that's your fault. Why do women and people want to humble you? Why do they want you to be being humble gets you first? Why? So I can make you feel better about your insignificant life and your trash rap career? You want me to be, you should humble yourself. You know what you can do for me. You know what you can do for me. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. So I'm not going to say it out. I'm not going to say the quiet part out loud because I know I got the church watching me and I got the daycares listening. You know what you can do for me. You know what you can do for me. Because you can't do nothing else for me. Listen, you can't humble me. This is what they try to do, the great ones. The great ones, they try to humble them. We just endure. I've seen your type before. You come, you fail, and then you disappear forever, female rap elite. And nobody cares anything about you. We won't remember your name. I'll be here, continuing to grow, adding value, running up the numbers, hanging out with the bag chasers, and you'll be sitting there every single day watching me tell you how you need to live your life. Hopefully you taking advice so we can continue to get you together. All right? And this is why we got a barrier to entry, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we got a barrier. See how many people love me in the chat? You see these people in the chat right now professing their love for Anton from AntonDaniels.com? You don't get that from being humble. Look at these people in the chat. They love me. Have you ever seen one of my meetups? It's crazy. It's crazy. I stand on the bar. I stand on couches and I talk my talk. They cut the music off when I stop talking. What makes you think I need to be humbled when I'm over here walking around like a god? My people love me and I love them back. My people love me, and I love them back. Yeah, Mrs. B77 says, that's right, you the best. Stan Autry threw that fire up there. Kid Hero threw the crown up there. Kiana said, Anton, you got the juice. Love you, big dog, said Glow Hardy. Yvette threw up the heart emoji. Megan said, I love you. Probably the best meetups. BC for life. Bag chasers. Next level MF. I really like the channel. Glad it popped up on my feed. Who can tell me to slow down when I'm the best at what it is that I do, ladies and gentlemen? I don't listen to you. I don't listen to you. My people tell me what they want from me. And you know what they want from me? More of me. They want more of me. Listen. It's 2023, 2024. Get that hate up out your spirit. Get somebody that love you too. Get somebody that love you too. Get that hate about your spirit. Get that enviousness, that vitriol, that ugliness out of your soul so that you can start having somebody that love on you too. Because one thing I know for sure is that nobody want to be around nobody that's always doom and gloom. We want to be around people that got that good energies. How you going to tell me to be quiet when I just got a deposit of $120,000 that just went into my account right now? Woo! In 2022, I spent over $1 million out of. I just gave away $21,000 to people's businesses. Why should I be humble? I got on a $45,000, $50,000 watch. You can't be humble with a watch like this on. You can't be humble with a watch like this on. I got on a $45,000, $50,000 watch on my wrist. It's pure gold and it weighs so much. And then I interchange it between the yellow gold and the rose gold. How can I be humble with a $50,000? I got your salary on my wrist. I don't know what to do with myself. I can't wait till tomorrow where I can have y'all up on the platform to express yourselves. Woo! Ric Flair on them. You know what I'm saying? We'll finish these tomorrow. We have plenty more to go through. All right? Okay, Pumpkin? Let me read some of the people that love Anton from AntonDaniels.com. And listen, let me tell y'all something. If you a chaser, if you subscribe to this channel, I don't want you to sit here being humble. I want to be around people that got confidence, that know what it is that they doing, that knows how to add value into people's lives, that is looking to go in the direction that I'm going in. I don't want to be around people that's always out and down on their luck that need help. I want to be around people that can actually add value into my life. And in order to do that, they're going to mistake arrogance for confidence. I know you just confident, and the only people that can recognize it is people that's confident with you. And we all going in the same direction. That's why we got a barrier to entry, and we not trying to hang out with no dusties. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tej Hanley said, listen, we want you to keep doing what you're doing. You're running the numbers up. Black Beauty in the building says, seems like you're ready. Seems like you're ready. Girl, are you ready to go? I ain't gonna see the whole thing. I can't do it. To go I can't do it. Rod Jones says, are you really speaking in tongues? 187 says, Wangwan, big bro, they worried about a job just over broke. I'm about to pay perpetually applying myself. You know what I'm saying? He said he gonna apply myself. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate my Canadian brethren. Next Level MF says, I left the streets 2 years ago, now legally making close to 200,000. Now, Julian, you know I will wax this chick left to right. I still got them bars. If you ever find my old BlackBerry like Drake, you know what I'm saying? After tax, nothing hard work, dedication, and determination. People just lazy, and hard work pays off. I agree with you, big dog. Tech Coach Ralph is in the building and says, humble, we the best. We the best. Listen. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Dang, it's Thursday night. We can't live stream tonight. I ain't going to that Pistons game. I gave them tickets away. Hey, Ray Sean, they trying to humble me out here. They didn't know what I was driving. They didn't know what I drove in today. Y'all want me to drop a 16? All right, yo. Check it. Shout out to Easy Money. Easy Money says, The Alchemist, I love it, my man. It's a great book. Make sure y'all read The Alchemist, Richest Man in Babylon, Buffetology, all that good stuff. All right. Tyson Scott says, screw humility. I'm going all the way up. Chasers. Chasers. The Chasers is in the building. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well. But guess what? You will be able to call up tomorrow in order to hold me accountable. You will be able to call up tomorrow in order to hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying, Tyson? Screw humility. I'm going all the way up. Antonio Watkins says, we want more. We want more. We want. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms is heavy, it's sweater on my wearing on Betty. Mom spaghetti is service. And when it was nervous, it's upon the verses to drop bombs. That's what Tia Marie says. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I got to get out of here. I ain't messing with y'all. I'm getting out of here. My dog, Jules. Jules, no. Says, I bet you ain't going to battle her, though. She got some bars for you. All right, well, tell her to step up to the plate. Come get this work. Moses was the meekest man on earth. Moses needed Aaron in order to be able to conversate for him. I don't care nothing about Moses. Shout out to Moses, but I ain't him. I'm Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Paul was different. He had a different spirit than Moses. David was different. Solomon was different. Job was different. Elijah was different. Peter said, boy, don't get me started. I ain't Moses. I'm Anton. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about what these people are saying. Listen, I love you. I appreciate y'all. Just a little bit of entertainment for y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I got a meeting I got to go to. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm looking forward to y'all calling up and holding me accountable tomorrow. That's the best day of the week is Friday for y'all to come up and say what y'all got to say. All right? I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Be good, y'all. Don't fumble the bag. And let's be clear. Moses didn't humble himself before man. He humbled himself before God. I go in the closet and I get on my knees and I pray to God and ask him what it is that he want me to do. And he says, stun on their head. I don't humble myself for you. I humble myself for God. No man can stand before me or above me. Remember that. And the minute that you get some confidence and you start operating in your kingship, you will stop letting people tell you what it is that you're supposed to do in order to be able to carry your confidence forward too. And then your people will believe in you and they'll follow you. They'll follow you if you actually stand on your square and have some confidence about who it is that you are. Stop being humbled before man. You can stand before anybody. Anybody.